Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm Sarah. This is No BS Beauty. So I thought I'd do a little news update. So if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, subscribe below. I will link to it. I always do some current news and things like that. And today I thought I'd talk a little bit more about some of the stories going on. So the first one involves this sunscreen right here. And I'm going to say I just want to mention, it says Bondi Sands. We all know what happened in Bondi Beach in Australia, so I just want to say praying for you guys. It was a beautiful beach, and yeah, so, and I don't want to make light of it by talking about this brand, which happens to be inspired by the name, inspired by the brand. But anyway, I try and focus on beauty and skincare and things like that, so we can think about sometimes other things to relax our minds and things like that. So okay, so this is the rumors that this brand is about to be recalling their mineral sunscreen. It uses 25% zinc oxide. And interesting, on Reddit, somebody noted that the last time they had recalled the sunscreen, they had removed it from their website before announcing the recall. And people were curious, why was it removed from their website? What's going on? And then shortly then after, they announced that they were recalling it. So I don't necessarily know what this means it's being recalled, but it seems like with the sunscreen scandal, there's a lot more going on. At this point, it started with a couple brands. Actually, it started with Ultraviolet being shown that their mineral sunscreen had like 4 to 7 SPF protection as opposed to like the 50 it states. That's kind of how it started, and now it's kind of matriculated into a lot more naked Sundays. Some of these are sold in the U.S., so if you're in the U.S., this is still newsworthy to you. Initially, I said it didn't affect the sunscreens made in the U.S., but it sounds like that's not so true. So this one used 22.5% zinc oxide as its filter, so keep that in mind. So I initially started with 1 or 2 or a handful of them that were shown not to be as effective, and now it's kind of snowballed into now over 30 brands having recalled their sunscreen, including Ultraviolet Naked Sundays. Medicate has one. Now Bondi Sands, it sounds like. But it seems like the scandal may not necessarily be initially what we were thinking it was just the brands were white labeling these and selling these. So, and the manufacturer was called Wild Child Laboratories, which ended up also recalling their sunscreens for more testing. And now it sounds, well, now people are sounding the alarms that perhaps the sunscreen brands and the white labeler had no control over this, and perhaps it was a zinc supplier. And if it's a zinc supplier, it could end up encompassing far more than 30 different sunscreen brands. So it's interesting. Another note that was interesting to see is companies register their sunscreens with a unique batch code identifier. Let me see if I can find it on one of these. Well, here we go. B. Okay, it mentions the expiration date, but up to that, it's got a batch code on it, right? So that one's B1486. So the Bondi Sands has B.J295. So 2 unique batch numbers, right? So there's a brand called Moogoo that was mentioning that he thinks it comes down to zinc supplier, because he noticed he had to throw an entire batch of zinc out because it wasn't uniform and it was solid, like in a solid state. So in Bondi Sands, I know people were complaining about this separating, and I think it does say shake well before you use. Directions apply liberally. Maybe it doesn't say to shake well, but anyway, I was thinking maybe it had something to do with that. So this Moogoo sounds the alarms that it could be the zinc supplier, and if it's zinc supplier, it's going to be even bigger. But so all these brands are supposed to be using their unique batch codes. However, if you search one specific batch code, it comes out with a list of a bunch of different products. So that's even more of a red flag, because how do you cite and find the batch that might have been bad? Say with Naked Sundays, it was just one batch, and say it is this batch that I have. we can instantly on all the shelves know you have this batch number, pull them quite easily. But if 10, 20, 30, 40 brands are using the same batch code, then are they all from the same batch, or why are they all using the same number? They shouldn't be. They should be using a unique identifier number as far as I understand. I'm not from Australia, but this is kind of what I'm understanding. So it's getting very interesting that perhaps all these brands were not totally at fault, although you'd think if you were a brand that white labeled your sunscreen, you'd test them a lot of different places, but it's expensive. And if you're making sunscreens and you don't know much about sunscreen, you probably won't even think to do that or know to do that. So anyway, it's getting interesting, and I think more will be coming out before we ever find out some real answers. So I just thought this was interesting. I mean, it could be sunscreens all over the world then, not just Australia and the U.S. So leave your thoughts below about that. I'm curious. Leave a comment. Oh, and subscribe. Also do that. Okay. Next up, this just popped up on my news the other day, that a study that was recently performed shows tanning beds mutate skin cancer cells far beyond the reach of ordinary sunlight. So tanning bed use is tied to an almost threefold increase in melanoma risk. And for the first time, scientists have shown how these devices cause melanoma-linked DNA damage across nearly the entire skin surface. And melanoma is the deadliest skin cancer. It kills 11,000 just in the U.S. each year, and it's growing rapidly, and it's growing in other countries as well. So it's interesting. So it sounds like indoor tanning, which has apparently been making a big comeback. And it's interesting. So I do have a membership at a tanning place. Now I start to wonder the ethics and morals of having a membership there. Even though I don't use any of the tanning beds, I just go in there and spray tan. And they've got a cryotherapy thing. I use that. They've got a little sauna. I don't use it for tanning, but then it's like, is that ethically? Leave a comment. Yeah, I start to wonder if that's ethical, because half of their rooms are tanning beds. So it's interesting to show that indoor tanning is worse than just sunlight. And I guess it makes the bulbs are replaced frequently. Yeah, anyway. That was just bold and interesting to me, and it has made a huge comeback. And I remember, where were we? I think we were in Poland. No, we were in Hungary when I saw a tanning salon that says, "Always stay tan. Tan is beautiful." You know. So anyway, it's definitely making a comeback, and maybe my membership there is not a good thing. I don't know. So yeah. So stay on the tanning beds. Another interesting story, the brand Sonia Dakar has salons. She's an esthetician, and a woman is suing them for permanently damaging her face. Somebody said in her TikTok that she is suing them. So in partnership with the California Board of Cosmetology, and the Attorney General, she has filed a complaint against Dakar's esthetician and establishment license over treatment they said irreparably damaged her face and has cost tens of thousands of dollars to try and fix. She said she did 18 sessions in 2021 of microneedling and trying to fix, and also ended up getting a burn, it sounds like, from it. And she spent $60,000, $10,000 a session to fix this laser treatment and microneedling. $60,000 in a year on microneedling and laser treatment, that's a lot. So I mean, it's a popular name, so yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I guess after the first $1,000, I'd be like, okay, I don't have any more money, so I can't permanently disfigure my face because I can't afford to. But anyway, so that'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Couple more. Shark Beauty's Cryo face mask has become the #1 selling face device in the U.S. It came out and it looked kind of interesting. It's Cryo Glow. It looks interesting. They also released a mask that looks similar to like a hydrofacial, so that's interesting. Shark Beauty's got some good innovation there. The brand FutureWise, they made the slug cream. They're sold at Target. They have now closed shop. The brand is gone. Cameraman realized that when he was updating our website, I'm updating my nobsbeauty.com website with all of my reviews I've ever done, so you have one spot to find them all. And he said, "Oh, future-wise, I can't find anything out about them." And I Googled it, and sure enough, they're closed, which kind of surprised me because they came out with a handful of products, not very many. I think it was 2 or 3 at the most. And yeah, so they're gone. And last but not least, deepfake IA ads. A woman speaks out after being scammed by an ad with a deepfake of her doctor. She was in pain from lymphedema, which I think is when fat cells, yeah, kind of scary. Fat cells, I think it's in your legs typically. They kind of bundle together. So somebody scammed her by telling her they were going to give her treatment for this lymphedema and scammed her out of all of her money. So not all of it, but however much she gave to them. So that's crazy. IA is going to get interesting. A lot of companies are using what?
You said IA.
AI. IA would be, I don't know. IA, International Affairs. AI is going to become scary. So Sephora's using it for a lot of their ads, which makes it hard to decipher. What does the product really look like when someone's using it, like a real person? So it'll keep getting interesting. So stay alert because it's everywhere, and it is taking over YouTube as well. AI fake videos. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's something we're all battling now in YouTube space. So it's hard to compete with a computer that can turn out millions of videos a day. How do you compete with that? Especially when the video can take your images and somehow use them. How do you compete with that? My brain doesn't work like a computer. I wish it worked a little bit better like a computer, but yeah. So anyway, leave your thoughts on all this below. Check out the website. FutureWise won't be on there because they don't exist now, but yeah, check out all the other reviews. We're adding to it every day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys more tomorrow. Bye, guys.